Hey, folks. So I'll give it a second for folks to get in here and join us today. A lot to talk about. Things that I hadn't planned on talking about are definitely on the agenda. Um, it is a really horrible day. What's up, Cam? Hey, Coco Nurse. How are you? Hello, Cat Lady. What's up, Lisa? Good to see you. Hello, Gypsy. Hey, Abby. How are you? How is everybody? Good morning, Alice. Hey, Elizabeth. What's up? It's me, T. Good morning, LaRonda. Hey, Carmen. What's up, Candy Kiss? Hello. Let me see. Beverly and Sherry and Max and Tara. Good morning. Good morning, Katsmandu. Kentucky Lady. Good to see you. What's up, Leonore? Laronica. Good to see you. Well, hey, Sage. What's up, Sherry? The other Sherry. It's going really fast. Hey, Tina Noel. What's up, Cynthia? YouTube and Facebook, I cannot greet you unless you chat because I can't see the comments. And let me just tell you this, sometimes I can't see all the comments. So what's up, Crafty? Hey, Denise Ford, how are you? Good to see you over there on YouTube. What's up, Mom with Goals? Hello, Carla N. What's up, Queen Tootie and Tech Lady and Natasha Brown? Good to see you, love. Good to see you. Hey, Julie. Hey, Amy. Thank you, Kentucky Lady. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mac. Thank you guys for already doing your join my team, your daily heart me. I appreciate that. Hey, Chelsea. What's up, Kentucky Lady? Renee in Texas. Linda, good to see you. Jen, good to see you. Alex, Colin Katz. Um, um, good morning. Hey, good morning, Susie Inman. Good to see you as well over there on Facebook. Yep. So some of you already know what I'm talking about. Some of you do not. Please don't spam the comments, folks. Seriously, please don't. It's not helpful. Okay. Appreciate it. So for those of you all who do not know the two individuals that are up on my screen, this is Representative Melissa Hortman. This is Representative John Hoffman. They are both out of Minnesota. They are Democratic. Representatives. Melissa Hortman and her spouse were unalived. And Representative John Hoffman and his spouse were also shot. Pew-pewed. Sorry, TikTok. Hey, William, good to see you as well. The individual who did this apparently came to their home pretending to be police. They were wearing police uniforms. They were pretending to be police, knocked on the door, Senator, sorry, I got it. I was typing very fast, so you're correct. Let me go ahead and I'll make a change. I appreciate it. I know that it doesn't change kind of the idea. So let me just say this, okay? Give me a second, folks. I will fix it. Sorry. Give me a second, folks. I'm going to fix this just because he is a senator. And so I have representative and I need to change it to senator. I was moving very quickly this morning. So just give me a second. They do believe that it is politically motivated. There is a massive manhunt for the individuals. There are people, police, of course, are saying, do not open your door for police unless there are two of them together. They are saying, don't even open the door if there are two. They are saying to call 911 and confirm that, and to confirm that it is in fact police at your door, even if there are two of them. So just to kind of recap, okay, so Representative Melissa Hortman and her spouse were targeted and unalived by someone who was pretending to be a police officer. And John Hoffman, Senator John Hoffman, and his spouse were also targeted. Yep, Cindy, give me just a second. But they are out of surgery and still alive. It is believed that that both of these events were. It is believed that both of these events were political in nature, and that they were politically motivated. Like I said before, the perpetrator was dressed as a police officer and pretending to be police when they went to the home, to both homes. So there is a big manhunt, as you can imagine, for both of these for this individual. And so, good morning, Mom. And yeah, so I'm going to change out this image real quick, folks. Sorry, I'm trying to do like a multitude of things and the comments are going crazy every way. So just bear with me one more moment. Okay. I've almost got it fixed. So, I'm going to share with you all what I know, and tell you what I don't know. Because literally, so I saw it when it first happened. So Melissa Hortman and her spouse are unalived. They are no longer with us. So Melissa Hortman and her spouse are not here. So let me read to you this article. Okay, this is from a Minnesota article. Governor Tim Walz confirmed that Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband were unalived in a targeted Pew Pew event. It was in the last 24 hours. Yep, I'm going to get to the children and all of that in just a minute. No children were they. Some of them do have children, but give me a second, folks. Quote, "We're here today because an unspeakable tragedy has unfolded in Minnesota. My good friend and colleague, Speaker Melissa Hortman, and her husband, Mark, were pew-pewed and unalived earlier this morning in what appears to be a politically motivated unaliving. Walz confirmed that Senator John Hoffman and his wife were also pew-pewed in another targeted event, but are out of surgery at this time. Quote, "My prayers also go out to State Senator John Hoffman and his wife, Yvette, who were each pew-pewed multiple times. The Hoffmans are out of surgery at this time and are receiving care, and we are cautiously optimistic that they will survive this attempt." Here's what lawmakers around the state have said about them. I don't feel the need to see what everybody else is saying about it, but this is kind of, there's a lot of quotes from different lawmakers around the state. So, yeah, folks, give me 1 second. Jesus Christ. There's a lot of you all asking a lot of questions and I can only say so much at one time. So give me one moment. Okay. I am getting there for everybody. Okay. Whew. All right. So, I am going to go over here just really quickly. So, how about I do this? If you're on Facebook and YouTube, I'm going to share my screen with you so that you all can see. I'm looking at a couple of different sources. So that was a local. Yep, that's exactly what I just said, Rachel. Yep, she was the Speaker of the House. Yes, yep, I just said that. Melissa and her husband have passed. John and his wife have been out. They are out of surgery, and we are cautiously optimistic that they will be okay. So I'm going to repeat myself, and I need for folks to give just slow down for just a second. Okay. So here is the deal. So yeah, I'm trying to get it to you guys. No, it's okay. I know. But so here's the thing. So both of these are Minnesota Democratic lawmakers. Yes, John Hoffman and his spouse have survived. Melissa Hortman and her spouse, her husband, have not survived. Melissa Hortman, former Speaker of the House, these are Minnesota lawmakers. Melissa Hortman and her husband have not survived. Okay, I'm not doing you at all. I'm not doing that at all. Okay. All right. So let me give you all a little bit of additional information. Okay. So no, not this article. Let me go to this one. Okay. So the Attorney General, Pamela Bondi, says the shooting, quote unquote, the event appears to be a quote unquote targeted attack against state lawmakers. Quote, I am closely monitoring developments in Minnesota after what appears to be a targeted attack against state lawmakers. Quote, the FBI is on the ground investigating this case alongside state and local partners. This horrific violence will not be tolerated and will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Bob Jacobson, the commissioner of public safety for Minnesota, says it is a quote unquote dark day, but quote, we will not allow fear or violence to define who we are or how we move forward, end quote. He says public servants have been, quote, targeted in a violent and cowardly way, end quote. Jacobson adds that the suspect exploited the trust that, quote, our uniforms are meant to represent, end quote, which is, quote, deeply disturbing, end quote, to those who wear the badge. He adds there is increased security in place for elected officials and others who may be at risk. Superintendent Drew Evans says the police and FBI are, quote, actively engaged in a manhunt for the individual they believe to be responsible for the shooting, for the pew-pewing. Jesus, TikTok. I'm just reading the news. Sorry. He says the investigation is active and they will be sharing the identity in due time. So when he says that they are going to share the identity in due time, that tells me they know what the identity is. He says that they are not in a position to reveal the identity now, as they are, quote unquote, actively searching for that individual. So I will tell you this, the fact that they are saying they know who the individual is and they are not ready to share who that is, and they are also saying that it is a targeted attack, it makes me think that there is information that leads them to believe that, right? So I know that they are both Democrats, right? And so by that, you would also think that it is targeted, right? But I would also say that them saying, we know who this person is, we're not ready to tell you who it is because we are actively searching for this person, tells me that if they know who that person is, right, then yeah, I said that part already. Yep, this person was in, oh my Jesus Christ, you guys. Do you know what is so horrible about the internet at this point in time? Is spreading things that nobody knows for fact yet. That is the thing that absolutely just irritates my soul. Okay? It irritates my soul because until you know, like, all of the things, I am quite sure that that no one in a press conference was telling you how these people voted or how they didn't, right? I'm quite sure that no one stood at a protest. I mean, at a press conference and said, "Oh, they voted against whatever," right? So let's not do that. Let's not make any assumptions about anything other than it was a targeted attack that appears to be politically motivated, because that is in fact what they have said at this point in time, right? And it's not helpful to say a bunch of other things when you don't know any other thing to be true or to be fact, right? Can we all agree on that part? When you automatically do those types of things, you it's not that I don't want comments. I just want responsible comments. Imagine that I actually want people to be responsible with the things that they say. Imagine that. So here is what we are going to do for just a moment. Okay. I just did that for now. All right. So right now, I can't see anything that you're saying, and we're going to level set for just a second. Okay. And the reason I want to do that is because people are coming in here spamming, saying lots of things, just spreading all kinds of misinformation. And let me just say this, folks, it's not helpful. It is not helpful to all of us to engage in that type of behavior. It doesn't help us. And the bottom line is two people are no longer with us as a result of this event. And we don't honor their sacrifice, their unaliving, or any of that by spreading misinformation and just like wanting to be the first to say something, or wanting to be the person who knows something that nobody else says, right? I really want you all to just slow down for a second, and understand that what I do in this space is I talk about the things that we definitely know. I don't talk about the things that we definitely don't know. Okay. So I am going through multiple pieces of information. I'm going to share all of that information. And if you all will just slow down and be patient, we can actually discuss it. Right. So that's how we that's how we make the best use of our time together. Right. So when somebody says turn off the comments if you don't want comments, I should not have to do that. You're adults. I should not have to turn off the comments for you to not say things that you don't know to be true, or just repeat things that you heard. Right? You're adults. Behave like adults. If you can't do that, my moderators will mute you and boot you. It's just that's just the way that it will go. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the comments back on, and I'm going to ask you to be respectful, to not use any slurs, to not spread misinformation, to not spam my comments, and to not type in all caps, because I use all caps for my moderators and for my folks that are vision impaired. Okay? That's it. It's just that simple. So slow your roll, take a deep breath, and let's actually look at what information we do know at this time. Can we do that together responsibly? God, I hope so. It's crazy. All right. So here we go. Mama Sue, let me just tell you something. You have freedom of speech in your world, not on my platform. Do you understand how that works? You have the freedom to say what you want to say, and I have the freedom to boot you the fuck out of my live. Just like this. Watch. Here it goes. There's you. I'm clicking. There's you. I'm going to block, and now you're gone. See, that's how it works. You have freedom of speech, but you are not free from the consequences of your speech. You don't dictate anything. In what world? Jeez. It's America, freedom of speech. Not over here. What the fuck? I can't with people today. We're just not doing that. And I'm just telling you, if you can't be responsible adults, you will get muted or booted. So I'm going to refresh. Okay. So you have Democratic Representative Melissa Hortman, former Speaker of the House, Minnesota State Legislature. You've got Senator. Oh shit, I didn't change my picture. Sorry, y'all. You have Senator John Hoffman and his wife, who all four of them at different times at their homes appear to have been targeted in a politically motivated attack. And here's what we know right now. Melissa Hortman and her husband are unalived. They are no longer with us. Senator Hoffman and his wife are out of surgery, and people are optimistic that they are going to be okay, right? So I've given you two reports already. I'm going with the third report. So Democratic House Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark were pew-pewed and unalived Saturday morning at their home in Brooklyn Park in what Governor Tim Walz called a, quote, politically motivated unaliving. During a news conference Saturday morning, the governor also confirmed that DFL State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette were also pew-pewed multiple times at their home in Champlain. I hope I'm saying that right. They were both out of surgery, and Walz said he was, quote unquote, cautiously optimistic, thank you, Carla, about their chances of survival. I'm going to read the rest of it. Give me 1 second, folks. Okay. All right. Quote, our state lost a great leader and I lost the dearest of friends. Speaker Hortman was someone who served the state of Minnesota with grace, compassion, humor, and a sense of service. Walt said, quote, she was a formidable public servant, a fixture and a giant in Minnesota. Champlin, thank you. She woke up every day determined to make this state a better place. She is irreplaceable and will be missed by so many. Authorities say both lawmakers and their spouses were pew-pewed by a gunman impersonating a police officer. A manhunt is underway in Brooklyn Park for the person responsible. Hortman was first elected to the Minnesota House of Representatives in 2004, and she served as Speaker from 2019 to 2025. She and her husband are survived by their 2 children. GOP, no, Derek, it's someone impersonating that. They already know the identity of the individual. So again, be responsible with your comments. It was not a police officer. It was someone impersonating a police officer. And that's what we know. Okay. This happened early this morning between 2 and 3 a.m., something like that. Okay. To my moderators, if you see people that are saying it was this or it was that, like in terms of blaming somebody, just go ahead and get their ass out. Okay. Can we do that? Yeah. See, like this one right here, fake agents. Oh, well, that is right. It was a fake. It was one person. It was one person. They know who that person is. And there's a manhunt for that person. They do not want to. Thank you, Linda. They are not ready to tell people. Thank you, Red Hot. They are not ready to release the identity of the individual because they are literally searching for this person now. So they have not released the name of the individual. Okay. Yeah, Susie, I'm trying. Thank you, Eddie. So let me go and tell you the rest of this. So, again, Hortman was first elected to the Minnesota House of Representatives in 2004, and she served as House Speaker from 2019 to 2025. She and her husband are survived by their 2 children. Yeah, Susan, that is in a report that they said this morning, and I will quote it for you. Hold on. I have several of them up because not everybody says the same thing. And so when you put them all together, then you get bits and pieces that are in one story that's not in another story. And so I have several of them pulled up. But one of the things that that it said is that here it is. Hold on. Okay, here it is. So this is from Reuters, and it says Superintendent Drew Evans says the police and FBI are, quote, actively engaged in a manhunt for the individual they believe to be responsible for the pew-pewing. He says the investigation is active and they will be sharing the identity in due time. He says they are not in a position to reveal the identity now as they are, quote unquote, actively searching, thank you, Sandy, for that individual. So that's the deal, right? And so this person was pretending to be a police officer. And so let me just tell you this, because I think this part is important, right? Correct. Yep. Yep. They are state representatives. I covered that part. Correct. So I think it's important for me to reiterate what the police have given in terms of guidance. They have said, do not open the door for a police officer, especially if they are by themselves. And if they, and even if there are 2 of them, to call 911 to ensure that they are in fact officers and are supposed to be there. Thank you all, moderators. I know it's really hectic in there. I appreciate you all. It is shameful that adults can't be on a social media app and not spread misinformation and not talk about things that you aren't certain of, right? Guys, this is, I want people to understand something, right? Yeah, Cam, I got you. I want people to understand something. This is a horrible thing that has happened. In my opinion, In my opinion, the political rhetoric, the hostile political rhetoric that we have seen build up over the last decade, but especially over the last 5 years, has helped lead us to this point, right? I really do believe that. And we have to talk about those types of things, and we'll do that shortly. But I think the very first thing that we have to do is talk about exactly what's happened here, get the right information out, and know that, right? No, they had not left the Democratic Party. Oh my God, why are people? So let me just say this, folks. There's there's nothing that I've heard that says they left the Democratic Party. There's nothing that I've seen that says that, right? I haven't seen anything in the news conferences where they have said anything about how these people voted. And the thing about it is that the fact that you all are already trying to give a reason for someone in either party to have done this shows you just exactly how far we have fucking fallen. The fact that you're more interested in which party you can blame, right? Whether it was a Republican that did it or a Democrat that did it, you're not even taking the time to understand that two entire families have been dramatically impacted, and two children no longer have either of their parents. Do y'all realize that? Two children went to bed yesterday and they had a mother and a father here with them. And today they do not. Do you hear me? Melissa Hortman and her husband are no longer with us due to political targeting. And John Hoffman and his wife are fighting for their lives. So, folks, this is the first thing that we have to focus on. And what's more important to me than who exactly did it is how did we get here? How did we get to the place where we are unaliving people based on the politics? I got you, Sandy. You're in, right? How did we get here? And that's a conversation that I really, truly want to have with all kinds of people. Yeah, we've talked about that, Sunshine, too. So I'm going to continue giving you this report. Stay with me, okay? GOP Representative Lisa Dumoth of Cold Springs succeeded her as House Speaker during the 2025 legislative session under a power sharing agreement in a tied chamber. In a written statement, she condemned the attack on her colleague. Quote, "I am horrified by the evil attack that took place overnight and heartbroken beyond words by the loss of Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark. With the law enforcement response ongoing and details still emerging, I will simply ask all Minnesotans to please lift up in prayer the victims of this horrific attack, and as well as the law enforcement personnel still working to apprehend the perpetrator." So that's another story. I'm giving you like all the details from different reports so that you can hear them. Okay. Let me look and see. Okay. I've already done this one. Give me 1 second, folks. I'm looking for like the latest one to see if there's anything new. Okay, so give me 1 second. And if you're interested, BBC has live reporting that is happening, and they keep updating it, right? So I'll give you the latest update, which happened 1 minute ago. It said Police Chief Mark Bruley says several people have been detained and questioned, but no one is in custody currently. He adds that there are quote unquote people of interest that we are looking for. So notice it did not say one person of interest. He added that there are people of interest that we are looking for. So I'm back to another update. It says Police Chief Bruley told the news conference that the suspect had a car which looked quote unquote exactly like an SUV patrol car with blue lights and was wearing a vest, taser, and badge similar to his. What, baby? You want me to do what? Okay. The police chief says there is a quote unquote extensive manhunt involving quote unquote hundreds and hundreds of officers and SWAT teams. Quote, we have thousands of people sheltered in place in the city of Brooklyn Park right now, end quote. Police are confident the suspect escaped out of the back of the Hortman's property, he adds. Ruley says they have the suspect's car and the man is now on foot. Yeah, baby. Oh, you want the granola bar? It's in the wagon, babe. Right there in the groceries I got this morning. You guys give me 1 second so I can get my baby girl her granola bar. Okay. It's my grandbaby, not actually my baby girl. Can I get one of my thanks, Brad Short. Right. So this is my thing, right? Thank you, DeBoss. Folks, I need for everybody to stop saying, oh, it was MAGA or it was lefty or it was whatever. It would be really easy to say it's this person or this group or that group. The reality is that we don't know any of those things right now. We have literally no idea because they have not said who it is. So stop speculating. The update on Hoffman is that he and his wife are out of surgery and they are cautiously optimistic that they will survive. Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark, they are both deceased and they are survived by their 2 children. The reality is this, whoever did it, how in the absolute hell, folks, are we here? Okay, so let me show you this. Vicky, your free speech just got you blocked. That's how the fuck it works. You have free speech. There are also consequences for your speech. Thank you, Teacups. And here's what that looks like, okay? If you don't like the fact that I am asking you to be responsible with what you say, then I don't need you in the live, period. Go ahead, DeBoss. Thank you.
Good morning.
Don't do that.
Hey, listen, there's 852 people in here. Tap the screen, share the live. Listen, I want to continue to reiterate Danny's point. It does us no good whether we feel like it was whatever. This just happened. We need to get our information, understand what's going on, take a breath. Everybody take a deep breath. Of course, it's going to be speculation, but that's not what we're here for. We want to get these. We want to get the facts out. Let Danny get through it. Danny's trying to look at multiple platforms, read the comments, get the updated information as it comes in, then read a comment. It's just too much. If we could just slow down, let her. You're here because you know she does this well. Let her do what she does. In the comments, let's just tone it down. She'll get the updates. She'll get as many updates as you. If you get an update, she's trying to get to it, but she's trying to read the comments. Let's please slow down, Mod. Let's make sure we knock on them. If you get knocked out of here because you get blocked, Danny may have to let you back in later if you're a friendly, because we're trying to keep this down. So if you get blocked and you're a friendly, it wasn't on purpose, but we're really trying to keep the rhetoric and the comments down so she can focus on finding the content because she's looking at us. You know, Danny is squirrel in headlights. You know that. So stop putting so many things in the comments so she can focus on finding the content, please.
Yeah,
Please.
Thank you, DeBoss. Folks, listen, what I don't want to do is give misinformation. I don't want to do that. I don't want to give anything that will have people upset. I don't want to say anything that is someone else could potentially take the wrong way. I literally only want to give you the details as we have them. Okay. And I want them to be facts. And I'm okay if I'm not the first person to tell you something, as long as I know that what I'm telling you is fact. Like, I saw this before Representative Hortman unalived. Before it came out that she had unalived, I had seen that there was a pew-pewing. I had seen that it had also been another event with Senator Hoffman's home. I had seen that, but I wanted to wait until we had more detail before I went live to talk about it. So let me give you a little bit more about this particular thing. Okay, so, And the only reason I'm not sharing my screen over there on that side is because I'm flipping through so many different things. I don't want you all to get whiplash from me going back and forth. You guys are very welcome. All right, so here we go. Okay, so Police Chief Mark Bruley told a news conference a short while ago that after responding to the pew-pewing at John Hoffman's home, a police sergeant proactively checked on Melissa Hortman. When they arrived, they discovered what appeared to be a police vehicle with its emergency lights on and an officer coming out of the house. When confronted, the individual immediately fired on the officers, who exchanged gun pew pew, and the suspect retreated into the home. Bruley said this person was clearly impersonating an officer and not a member of police themselves. Okay, I'm going to refresh because this one keeps getting updated. All right, so give me one more moment. I want to find this one thing, please. Let me ask you this: the presser that you all were at, that you all watched, was it by Waltz or was it by the sheriff? All right, I'm gonna do this one, Waltz. Okay, so give me a second. Here we go. This is a 1-minute video of it. Let me see if I can find the entire thing.
Everyone's talking about how
it's going to be an ad, of course, at first, so give me a second.
And head to Subway for tons of delicious protein-packed footlongs, like the Ultimate BMT, loaded with 54 grams of protein.
Oh, dear God in heaven, could I please get over... I can't listen to him talk about Subway. I got it. 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Here we go.
Today, because an unspeakable tragedy has unfolded in Minnesota. My good friend and colleague, Speaker Melissa and her husband, Mark, were shot and killed early this morning in what appears to be a politically motivated assassination. Our state lost a great leader, and I lost the dearest of friends. My prayers also go out to State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette, who were each shot multiple times. The Hoffmans are out of surgery at this time and receiving care, and we are cautiously optimistic they will survive this assassination attempt. This was an act of targeted political violence. Peaceful discourse is the foundation of our democracy. We don't settle our differences with violence or at gunpoint.
Okay, so they've cut the video there. I'll play the rest, but the manifesto that was found in the suspect's vehicle said the manifesto identified, quote, many lawmakers and other officials, end quote, and it was found when law enforcement searched the vehicle of the suspect wanted in the unaliving of Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman. According to the Brooklyn Park Police Chief, Mark Bruley, quote, we immediately made alerts to the state, who took action on alerting them and providing security where necessary, end quote. Members of the Minnesota congressional delegation were named in the manifesto, according to a law enforcement source. Donald Trump has been briefed on them and says, let me look. Quote, I have been briefed on the terrible pew-pewing that took place in Minnesota, which appears to be a targeted attack against state lawmakers. He said in a statement released by White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt on Twitter. Trump said Attorney General Pam Bondi and the FBI are leading the investigation, adding that anyone involved, quote, will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, end quote. Quote, such horrific violence will not be tolerated in the United States of America. God bless the great people of Minnesota, a truly great place, end quote. 7 Midwest, this is your first warning. Don't do that, please. This is your first warning. That is, we don't have anything at all to indicate such a thing. And I'm going to ask you to not speculate on misinformation. So please just don't do that. You can, I know it's okay. I know that everybody is upset. And I know that everybody has their ideas. What I'm going to ask you though is here's where we kind of get ourselves in trouble and we go down an even worse path. When everybody starts speculating out loud or what they think might potentially have happened or who they think might have known or have been involved in all of those things, right? We end up taking that information, and I see people do it all the time. They take that piece of information and then they hop from one live to another live to another live to another live, just saying the same thing. And the next thing you know, it's, oh, well, I heard this happen and I heard this happen and I heard that happen. Here's what we know that happened. Here's what we know. We know that someone impersonating a police officer was at the home of State Senator John Hoffman of Minnesota. We know that person fired at John Hoffman and his wife Yvette multiple times. We know that they have come out of surgery and that we are cautiously optimistic, those are the words that Governor Walz used, that they will survive. We know that when officers went to the home of Melissa Hortman, the suspect was there. The suspect engaged in an exchange, right, of pew-pews. The suspect then went back inside the home of the Hortmans, where police officers believe went out the back door. Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark, are both unalived. They are survived by their 2 children. So they have 2 children, and those 2 children now do not have their parents. The police said, the police have said that they do have an identity for this suspect, that they are not ready to release the name of that suspect because there is a manhunt right now. And we do know that this person was driving a dark SUV, very similar to what police officers drive, that it had blue lights and everything. And that that person was in uniform, had a taser, had a badge very similar to the police chief's. So this person was definitely impersonating an officer. And so that is what we know at this moment in time. They did, no, Megan, they've only run into one perpetrator. Other people have been detained. But they said that there are several persons of interest, right? Here's what I'm going to tell you. The chief of police said that the person is not an officer. And he said that it was clear based on what the person was wearing that they were impersonating an officer and not a real officer. That is what the police chief said. We will find out if that's not true shortly, right? But that's what we know, right? In the vehicle, right? Yes, they were both Democratic state legislators. In the vehicle of the suspect, there was a manifesto. That manifesto had, and I'm quoting what they say, the manifesto had, it identified, quote, many lawmakers and other officials, end quote. Okay? The chief of police said that they immediately made alerts to the state, who took action on alerting those people and providing security where necessary. So yes, there was a manifesto. Yes, it had names of other people. Yes, those people are, this is Minnesota. And so it's important that, that folks kind of stick with just the facts, because we don't know who they were. And let me just say this, folks. I saw somebody just say we have to protect the Democrats. Listen, we have to protect all human life. That is Democrat, that is Republican, that is independent, that is libertarian, that is unaffiliated, that is non-voting, that is immigrant, that is citizens, that is absolutely everybody. So let me be very clear. There's not a single life that is more valid or more important than anybody else's. I want to be very clear about that. So if you come in here and you start talking about, whatever about MAGA and Trump and all that, you're going to find yourself muted, because we're not going to do that here. We have respect for all life. I don't have to like the life that I respect, right? I don't have to like it. I don't. Right? I have said this a bajillion times, and I will continue to say it. I might think that Donald Trump is a shitty human being, and he's a human being. Period. That's it, folks. That's a hard stop for me, right? That is a hard stop for me. I don't care who it is. Period. All right. So I need for people to understand. Now, what we have to do is everyone has to start asking yourself, how did we get here? And I'm going to say this. If you immediately say we got here just because of Trump, I just read Trump's statement, Noreen, but let me just say this. If you say we got here just from Trump, let me ask you this. How many of you all saying that have also referred to Trump supporters as maggots? How many of you all have done that? How many of you all said you were sad somebody missed? How many of you all said that? Because I know a lot of people who did. So I'm just going to ask everybody to get yourself in check. And I want you to think about your language, because everybody has to be accountable for how we've contributed to this. Everybody does. Period. So this is the deal. All right. We don't know who did this yet. We don't know. We do know it was politically motivated. We do know that they were both Democrats. And at this point, that is all we know. Right? It's not all we know, but that's it. We don't know who the person is, or what their political affiliation was. That is not something that we know at this time. So we should not pretend to know it when we don't. Got it? What is determined from the manifesto? So here's what from the manifesto. All it said was that there were many other lawmakers and officials that were identified in the manifesto. We know the individual was posing as a police officer. We know that they were driving a dark SUV with blue lights and everything. We know that they were dressed in a uniform with a taser and a badge. Yes, that's what they have all said. And I'm guessing, Judo, that they are saying that based on the manifesto. What I would believe is that it's not just because both of the lawmakers were Democrat, but because there was a manifesto with other people that were there, and they are all saying, including the chief of police, that it is politically motivated. I would imagine it's because of that. So that would be why I think they're kind of saying that, right? I don't know. I'm not watching MSNBC. And dear God, I wouldn't want to right now. This is why I am reading print reports, folks, because they haven't put out who all was on the list, right? They have not put out who all was on the list. So it's just important for people to know that. Okay. So, let me see if there is anything new. Give me 1 second, folks. I'm going to anything that has an update for you as well. All right. So give me a second. Okay. All right, so here we go. Let's see if this has anything new in it. Probably not, but judging from it, I don't think that it does, right? Yep, I have heard that. Good morning, Jerry. People are saying that that there were flyers in the vehicle about No Kings protests, right? I'm sorry, I'm looking at things that they're coming. Of course, yeah, Darla, that's standard practice. That is standard practice. Here's my thing. Of course, they're going to look at. Of course, they're going to look at ring cameras. They're going to look at if they have live cameras at intersections. That's just standard. Here's what I will tell you: the FBI is there. Any piece of technology that they have is being utilized right now. Like, of course, that is absolutely going to happen, right? Yes, they do know who it is. What they said, let me just say this, guys. What they said very clearly is we are not going to release the name of the individual because we still have an active search happening right now, right? So this person has not been found. Okay? There are other people that have been detained, right? That are persons of interest, but that's it. So let me see if there's anything new. Give me 1 second. I'm looking to see if anybody has any like particular update, folks. Give me 1 second. Nope, that's the same story. I'm going to refresh this one and see if we get another update. Okay. The last update that I see was 15 minutes ago. Because Suntan Superman, because an officer pulled up to the house and for Melissa Hortman, and he was in the front of the house, they exchanged fire and he went back into the house and out the back door, which means he had no choice but to leave his vehicle out front. There was no getting the vehicle back. And at that time, he had already unalived Melissa Hortman and her husband. So that is why. Yes. Yep. Shizzle just talked about that. Okay. I'm going to start from the top from folks that are just joining. Okay. Listen, folks. All right. So, because he had additional targets. What do you mean? Like, here's the thing. You're not going to carry the piece of paper in while you take care of these particular people. You're going to leave it in the car. Go take care of those people, come back, and then go to the next person on your list. So that is why it was in the car. Oh, dear Lord. Okay, listen. Stop, people. Stop, people. Stop. And do not speculate. Dear Lord, y'all. Here's what we know. Overnight in the early morning hours this morning, about 2 to 3 in the morning, what we know is that someone who appears to be impersonating a police officer arrived at the home of Minnesota State Senator John Hoffman, where that individual pew-pewed him and his wife Yvette several times. The latest update that we have is that the two of them are out of surgery and that they are cautiously optimistic that they will survive. Okay. What we know is that when the officer went to Melissa Hortman's home, the perpetrator was coming outside, and the perpetrator and a police officer exchanged fire. The perpetrator went back into the house and they believe escaped out the back of the house. That officer, the car that was left out front was a dark colored SUV. Appreciate you, Cam. And that SUV had blue lights and everything and looked like a police car. This individual was wearing what looked like a police uniform, looked like it had a badge, had a taser, but according to the chief of police, based on the uniform, it was obvious that it wasn't a real uniform and this person was impersonating it. Okay. TDG, please don't type in all caps. Okay. I use all caps for my moderators and for my folks that are vision impaired. Next, what we know is when they searched that vehicle, they found a manifesto that identified many other lawmakers and officials. That's the quote from the press conference, right? I said this so clearly that this individual was dressed like a police officer. Okay. So the manifesto quote identified many other lawmakers and officials. They have sent that out to all the agencies. Those agencies have now notified those individuals and provided security where necessary. The police have said, do not answer your phone. Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark, have passed. They are survived by their 2 children. Okay? Give it 1 second, folks. All right. Give me 1 second. All right. I need to look at one more thing for you guys. Hold on. Damn. This is how crazy life is around here. Wikipedia has already updated her information to say she was an American politician. Jesus. You see how quick you're here and then you're not, and how quickly you become past tense. Okay, people, listen. I need for y'all to hear me when I say this again. John Hoffman and his wife Yvette are out of surgery and are cautiously expected to live. Okay? Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark are the 2 individuals that have been unalived. Okay? That's where we are in terms of that. I don't care what anybody else said on a live 2 hours ago. I'm literally looking at the last update from 4 minutes ago. So this is my thing. I don't care what people say on lives. I don't. I'm not going to say it until it's here and I can verify it. I'm not going to say that. What I'm going to say is what I definitively know. I know that Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark, are deceased. They are survived by their 2 children. Senator John Hoffman and his wife, Yvette, although they were pew-pewed several times, are out of surgery and expected to survive. Like, I don't know why folks don't. So, no, that's not what it sounds like. It doesn't sound like anybody was hired. You know, I want you all to understand that people with agendas don't have to be hired to have a list. We've seen people. If you all remember several years ago when we had Democratic lawmakers being targeted by the individual in a white van with the pictures of Trump all over the white van, and he was mailing those boom booms to people. Do you remember that? He had a list. He was targeting all those people, right? But nobody hired him to do that. So I need for you all to stop speculating. Unless one of you is like retired FBI, like unless that's your background, please stop speculating. Because the reality is that no one knows enough to know. No one knows enough to know. Like y'all just be pulling shit out of the air. Like, well, I think this. Based on what? Exactly. Like, folks, right. But do you all understand that it is dangerous? Yes. Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark, they were unalived. They were unalived. They are survived by their 2 children. Senator John Hoffman and his wife, Yvette, are out of surgery and expected to survive. That is where we are. There is a massive manhunt for this individual. The police have said they are not ready to share the identity of this individual because they are working on catching them, right? So let me take a look at this piece. I'm looking to see if there's anything new. Yeah. So here's what they are saying. Minnesota Superintendent Drew Evans said officers received a call at 2 a.m. local time regarding the incident involving Hoffman and his wife. Evans said another call was placed to police at 3:35 a.m. when officers were proactively checking on Hortman. Police then exchanged pew-pew with the suspect at Hortman's home, but he managed to escape. Authorities warn people in the Brooklyn Park area not to answer their door for a police officer unless there are 2 officers together and that you call 911 and verify that they are police. Several people have been detained, but no one is in custody currently. And he added, this is from the police chief, Mark Bruley, that there are quote unquote people of interest that we are looking for. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Let me see if I can do this for you. All right, so right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play for you the press conference from Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Okay. $500. So give me 1 second, and I'm going to play the press conference for you. All right. Okay, here we go.
Mayor of Brooklyn Park. We're here today because an unspeakable tragedy has unfolded in Minnesota. My good friend and colleague, Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark, were shot and killed early this morning in what appears to be a politically motivated assassination. Our state lost a great leader, and I lost the dearest of friends. Speaker Hortman was someone who served the people of Minnesota with grace, compassion, humor, and a sense of service. She was a formidable public servant, a fixture and a giant in Minnesota. She woke up every day determined to make this state a better place. She is irreplaceable, and we've been missed by so many. Minnesota's thoughts and prayers are with her family, her loved ones, her children, and her parents. My prayers also go out to State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette, who were each shot multiple times. The Hoffmans are out of surgery at this time and receiving care, and we are cautiously optimistic they will survive this assassination attempt. This was an act of targeted political violence. Peaceful discourse is the foundation of our democracy. We don't settle our differences with violence or at gunpoint. In the state of Minnesota, and as recently as last week, in the most closely divided state legislature in the country, we sat down, we worked things out, we debated, we shook hands and compromised, and we served the state of Minnesota together. We proved that it's possible, even in these politically charged times, to find compromise and adhere to the principles of democracy and civil discourse. We must all, Minnesota and across the country, stand against all forms of political violence. At this precipice moment we're on, this tragic act here in Minnesota
Mila, not so
should
loud.
serve as a
Okay.
reminder to all of us. The democracy and the debates in the halls of Congress, in state houses, in school boards, is a way to settle our differences peacefully and move society to a better place. We're collaborating with all local, state, and federal agencies on a full investigation. We're committed to keeping Minnesotans informed as the situation continues. I assure you that those responsible for this will be held accountable. And each and every one of us are committed to making sure that a tragedy like this never repeats itself in Minnesota or across this country. I'd now like to turn it over to my public safety team to fill you in on the specifics of this ongoing investigation.
Thank you, Governor, and thank you everyone for being here today. My name is Drew Evans, and I'm the superintendent at the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. I want to start by just expressing our deepest sympathies to the communities, the family, the friends, and everybody that cared about the individuals that were gunned down today. When we have individuals like this in our political leadership, they're not only political leaders, but they're members of the community, well-known members of the community, that the tragedy in a situation like this is not only for them, their friends and families, but us collectively, the communities that represent us as a state of Minnesota as a whole. About 2 a.m. this morning, there was an original call in the city of Champlin where there was an individual that had shot Senator Hoffman and his wife. Police responded to that location. They were dealing with that and working through that process overnight. And then later on, at approximately 3:35, that another call came in when it was officers proactively checking because they knew of the incident that occurred, and they were going to check on Speaker Hortman at that time, at which time Brooklyn Park police officers encountered an individual who immediately fired at them, and they exchanged gunfire, and then the individual was able to escape during that exchange of gunfire. At the residence in Champlin, there was life-saving measures that were provided there. Both individuals were transported, as was previously noted, and they both received surgeries for their injuries at the hospital. And their conditions at this time, both those individuals, Senator Hoffman and his wife, are both alive at this time, but they suffered gunshot wounds and are obviously in a difficult situation. But we're cautiously optimistic that they will continue to improve. At this time, it is a very active scene still, as you've seen. The Brooklyn Park Police Department, along with other members, the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, State Patrol, FBI, BC, and many others are actively engaged in a manhunt for the individual that we believe is responsible for this. And so we'll be sharing the identity with those individuals as this progresses, but I'm going to caution you, I know there's going to be a ton of interest in this. We're not at the position we can do that as we're actively searching for that individual. Right now, just as noted, we have teams in the County Sheriff's Office in Champlin are working at the scene there that occurred there. And then we are also, as we're stabilizing this between Brooklyn Park, working on the homicide investigation with Brooklyn Park Police, the BCA, FBI is assisting there as well, and we'll be conducting crime scene investigation there. And then the individuals that were killed will be doing autopsies of those individuals to determine the extent of their injuries and how they passed away. But it was from gunshot wounds. At this time, I will answer questions after Commissioner of Public Safety Bob Jacobson speaks, but we'll be happy to take a few questions.
I don't think they're going to tell anything more than what they already have, right? So we can just, as soon as I figure out where I'm playing it
Bob
from.
Jacobson, it's my honor to serve as the Commissioner of Public Safety for the state of Minnesota. This is a dark day today for Minnesota and for democracy. But we will not allow fear.
There's like 18 more like 12 more minutes of it. I don't think they're going to say anything different. That was the gist of the press conference. I want to say this to everybody, for those of you guys who are just tuning in. Please do not come in here blaming someone for what has happened. Don't do that. And I'm going to tell you why. We don't fucking know who did it. Do you hear me? We don't know who did it. I don't know. We don't know anything about the person other than they were impersonating a police officer. That is all we know. We do not know their political affiliation. We do not know their age. We do not know their race. We do not know their motive. We don't know anything other than they had a manifesto that named additional lawmakers and officials. We know that they targeted these two individuals are members of the Minnesota state legislature, and they are both Democratic. Those are the things that we know. We don't know anything else. And speculating doesn't help us, because what happens is people take that information, just like somebody came in here a second ago and said that John Hoffman was also passed. I can't find that anywhere. Not in the latest updates. What I know is what they have said so far is that he and his wife, Yvette, are expected. They are cautiously optimistic that they are going to survive. Well, we know it was that, Mocha Lovely. We know that. Yes. It was an intentional unaliving. So the last thing that I got, and I will keep checking, folks. Yeah, nope. It's still not saying that he is unalived. It's still not saying it. So until I see that it says that, I'm not going to say that it is so. Y'all get that? Until I see that it says so, I'm not going to say that it's so. They know the identity and have said that they will share the information when they are available. Guys, they are not going to identify the person if they are in an active search for that individual and believe they know how they can find them. Yes, it does say politically motivated, folks. It does say that. Right? It does. So, again, let me just, Well, LRDC, there's nothing to defend yet from anyone because we have no idea who did it. So let me be clear. We do not know that it was a Trump supporter that did it. We do not know that. Would it make sense? Maybe, but we don't know that. And I think that people need to remember this. We don't know what the motive is. So it's not good to speculate. What we do know is that Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark, are deceased, and we know that their children no longer have their parents. That's what we know. We know so far that Senator John Hoffman and his wife, Yvette, were pew-pewed several times. They went through surgery, but they are cautiously optimistic that they are going to live. That's the last info. Yeah.
Listen, the speculation doesn't do anyone any good because people start reacting in their own communities to people that they know are on the left or on the right, and it elevates and escalates everything.
Yep.
Just take a deep breath and just digest the facts as they come out. While we're rushing to the facts or to a conclusion on this, it's not helpful at all.
Nope.
And listen, I'm not saying that from a position, from any other position other than I'm angry and all those things too, but to speak on them in a forum where there's 700-800 people that can take that energy and multiply it by 10, and now you got a bunch of people running around because we don't know facts yet. Just please take a deep breath. Take a deep breath and just wait till the facts come out. And if you want to pray for the family, pray for the kids. But all the rest of the stuff is either it's going to come out or it's not. We can't force it. We can't make anything happen faster than it's happening. So just relax.
Right. And I think so. People want to know. So let me just tell y'all how we are as people. It's so wild to me. And I see this often. When we see events like this. People automatically want to know how old the children are. And then I want you to ask yourself, why do you want to know that? Every little detail is we just thrive on it. It's just like if you can make them 2-year-olds, or if you can make them about to graduate high school, or if you can make them about to go to prom, if you like, it doesn't matter. Whatever age you can make them, like even if they're adults, if they've never been married, oh my gosh, now they're gonna miss their weddings, right? Oh, they're never gonna be here to see their grandchildren. It's just like, I don't understand this human thing that thrives on, that seems to feed on as much dire information as you can get. Right? Here's all I know is they are survived by their 2 children. And that's all they've said. And that's all I need to know. Because whoever they are, whatever their age is, they no longer have their parents. Right? Someone unalived Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark in their home at around 3:30 in the morning. They're gone. Senator Hoffman and his wife were also targeted and hit multiple times, have gone through surgery, and are cautiously expected to survive. And that's it. There's a difference, Doc B, between curiosity and looking for the whatever makes the story more enthralling. That's what I'm going to tell y'all this. We are the breaking news. How much can we compare trauma kind of people. I just like, that is what society has become. And it's the craziest thing ever to me. I don't know anything about her children other than there are 2 of them. And that's all I need to know. Exactly, which that's the word. They like to sensationalize it. They like to sensationalize it. 100%. The more you can do that, the more people like it. And that's just absolutely asinine to me, because can we just focus on the fact that, holy crap, y'all, like, somebody was driving around in the state of Minnesota pretending to be a police officer, and unalived a Democratic legislator and her husband, and tried to unalive another legislator and his wife. Can we just think about, how did we get here? We have seen so many crazy things in this last week. It's fucking nuts. Oh, Devo, absolutely not. This has nothing to do with martial law. What in the absolute holy hell? Can you share with me, please? how this would invoke martial law. Please share that with me, because I don't think Ted Bundy didn't cause martial law. Eric, whatever his name is, that did the 96 Olympic Games and took his ass to North Carolina and got caught up in the mountains forever, that didn't cause martial law. Tell me how. That's what I'm asking you. I would like for you to tell me how this sets Donald Trump up to call martial law. Please tell me. Please tell me what is what is the like, I can't. It just, like, what in the absolute hell? Like, I need y'all to stop doing that. It's not helpful. Like, we literally have no idea the motivation for this. We don't know. You can assume if you want to, but the truth of the matter is you do not know, right? So you can spend all of your emotional currency making up shit, right? Making up shit. Or you could just wait until the facts come out. Thank you, John. That's it. Correct, Fed Up. We know that they found a manifesto. Correct. But that is literally all we know, people. I wish you all would stop projecting into the future about things you don't know anything about. We would be so much better off as human beings, as a society, and as a country if we simply stayed in the present moment. Just stay in the present moment. That's it. That's all you got to do. So what do we know? Because for me, what we know is bad enough. What we know is that one Democratic lawmaker and her husband are unalived. We know that another Democratic lawmaker and his wife are fighting for their lives in the hospital. We know that there is a manifesto that had many names of other lawmakers and officials, right? We know that. We know that this individual was pretending to be a police officer. We know that, right? Other than that, that's about it. Correct, Dee Lovely. We know that. I just said that we know her and her husband, Mark, were unalived. I literally just said that very thing. Right? That's literally what I just said. And that's all we know. We know that based on that information, Apple user, the only, right, they found the manifesto in the car. Correct. All that we know about Hoffman and his wife is that they are out of surgery and they are expected to survive. That's it. That's all we know. So I'm looking to see if there's any other update. Okay, so Governor Walz said people are asked not to attend any political rallies until the suspect in this event is caught. He says, quote, out of an abundance of caution, my Department of Public Safety is recommending that people do not attend any political rallies today in Minnesota until the suspect is apprehended, end quote. Hortman and her husband passed. So there you go. That is the latest. They're asking people to not attend those rallies. Right. I'm looking to see if, okay, I've got that one. I'm going to check this one as well for another. Yep. This one hasn't been updated. I'm going to go and check one more thread. There's a couple of them, local and national, that I have pulled up that are doing like updates, like in a timeline. So the Minnesota State Patrol said, quote, Given the targeted pew-pewings of state lawmakers overnight, we are asking the public to not attend today's planned demonstrations across Minnesota out of an abundance of caution, end quote. Indivisible Twin Cities, one of the groups organizing local No Kings Day protests, said they still plan to demonstrate. Quote, we are horrified by these acts of unspeakable political violence. We mourn with the state and the families. As of now, we are proceeding with the No Kings event. We think it's important to gather peacefully, end quote. Yeah, so that is the latest on this one as well. And I'm going to check another one. Okay, I'm looking to see. Give me a moment. I'm scanning. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Like, guys, there's nothing new. There's nothing new. Yeah. So again, it's the same thing. I'm looking to see if there's anything new. Yeah, there's still nothing new. Can I just point something out to you guys? It has now been over 15, 20 minutes at least since people in the comments were telling me that John Hoffman passed, right? Telling me, oh, it's true. I heard it in another live. Oh, it's true. You see, I literally just reviewed all of the websites again, and that information is still not there. Even though I had 3 people tell me that it was true, I said, until I see it with my own eyes, until I know it to be fact, I am not going to say that is so, right? This is why it's important. This is why it's important, folks. And by the way, if you have John Hoffman and his wife Yvette are both expected to survive. They are out of surgery. Folks, let me just say this to you. If you've never been someone that's led protest or gotten on the bad side of really rich people or politicians like I have, you don't understand that that there are people who will try to get you to say things that aren't true to try to discredit you. Do you understand that? They will send people to you, have them pretend to be sources just to discredit you. Which is why I don't give a fuck what nobody in these comments tells me. I'm going to go check it out. Right? And so I'm just saying, no, Rebecca Littlebird, Steve at Facts Live Matter. He was live this morning and I saw him as well. Oh, I love that, Stephen, that there are about 2,500 people in Kingsport at the moment. That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm eating bread, guys, because I took medicine and I haven't eaten yet. So I just don't want to get sick to my stomach. Henry, I've already said repeatedly that Hortman and her husband, Mark, are unalive. I've already said that. it is John Hoffman and his wife Yvette that are alive. Love that for you, Kat. So I don't know how many times I got to say it. Oh, that is Mila back there singing. Da, 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 da. So listen, I've said it and I will say it again. Melissa and Mark Hortman are deceased. Okay? Yeah, radical granny. John Hoffman and his wife Yvette are expected to survive and out of surgery. I don't know. So, you know, you got to love it, right? They are both Democrats, correct? She'd be making up her own sounds, her own songs, her own words, everything. Her newest favorite thing to do is to pretend to be asleep, and she'll go like she does that and pretends to be asleep. I'm aware that she passed, folks. No, they haven't. Just that she is survived by her 2 children. That's it. Yes. So, okay. So just to recap so that everyone understands. Yes, exactly. Yes, from the Minecraft movie. I don't know. Okay, so here's what happened. At approximately 2 o'clock this morning, police received a phone call. That phone call was about a pew-pewing at the home of State Senator John Hoffman in Minnesota. Police arrived there, found he and his wife Yvette, the victims of multiple pew-pew wounds. They are out of surgery and they are expected to survive. Out of an abundance of caution, they went to Melissa Hortman's house to check on her. And at about 3:35 this morning, they got a call as well. And so at Melissa Hortman's house, when the police got there, they encountered the suspect. They exchanged pew-pew fire with the suspect. The suspect then went back into the house where they believe the suspect escaped out the back of the house. There is a large manhunt for this particular individual. The individual was driving a dark SUV with blue lights and everything that looked like a police car. The individual was dressed like a police officer with a badge and a taser, and this. That's what it was. And so they are saying that this individual was pretending to be an officer. And so they have said for everyone that's in that area, do not open your door for a police officer unless there's 2 of them. And even then you should call 911 and ensure that they are in fact the police and they are supposed to be at your house. When they searched the vehicle that the suspect left, a manifesto was discovered in the vehicle. That manifesto included the names. It identified many lawmakers and officials who were also on his list to be targeted and attacked. So what they've done is they have notified all the agencies who have notified those people. Those people have now been given additional security if they need it. And that's where we are. Okay, so that is where we are. Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark are deceased. They are survived by their 2 children. I don't know anything else about their children. I just know that they are survived by 2 children. That's what I know. So, what the news has said, what the chief of police have said, and the superintendent has said is that they know the identity of that individual and that they are not ready to release the identity of that individual because there is still an active search ongoing and they do not want to do that. So they do have several people that have been detained, but no one is in custody. No one is in custody. So those are the last updates. Yes, Stephen, I plan to talk about that. I just am not ready just yet until I've finished this part. You're welcome. And so the biggest thing that I will tell people is, listen, let me just say this to you all. They already know who it is. They have said they just don't want to release the name yet. Don't speculate. Don't say the person who did it is a Trump supporter. Don't say that it's a Democrat. Don't say that it's anything, because the reality is you don't know. You don't know. So don't spread misinformation. Just wait for the facts. I know that's difficult for some people, but just wait for the facts. That's all you have to do, right? Just wait for the facts. Okay. The reality is here's what we know. They were both Democratic lawmakers. We do know there was a manifesto with other names in it, right? Do we know if all of those names were Democrats? I don't know. It didn't say. It didn't say that, right? So there's no way to know. So I'm just saying, right? Oh, butterfly freedom. Again, Dawn, please don't do that because you don't know that. Why are you saying such a thing? Why are you saying such a thing? Because you don't know. Let me just say this, Dawn, if you know for sure that that is the motive, were you involved in the planning of this event? Does the FBI need to come visit you? Because you are stating for a fact that that's the motive of this crime. So what I'm going to ask you directly is, were you involved in the planning of this event? Because if not, you don't know that for a fact. Now, if you do know it for a fact, then let me know. Because then we just need somebody to come call on you. Because it sounds like you have information that the FBI needs. That's what it sounds like. See how quickly that just ends that shit? They were at home. It was 2:00 in the morning, y'all. They were at home. It was 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. Right, Mother Football. And if y'all don't believe that they are absolutely scrolling social media right now, yes, there's a manifesto. Can you tell me what you know about that manifesto, Massive Twinkie? Can you tell me what you know about the manifesto? Melissa Hartman and her husband are deceased. They are survived by their 2 children. John Hoffman and his wife Yvette are out of surgery and expected to survive. No, be informed that's not true. It wasn't a home invasion. Manifestos are not just written by the CIA. Dear Lord, y'all watch too much damn TV. Y'all watch too much TV. I'm just saying. So, Denny, here is what happened, okay? These 2 individuals are Democratic state lawmakers in Minnesota. At approximately 2:00 this morning, police received a call that that John Hoffman and his right deal and his wife Yvette had an event. When they get there, here's what they find. They find John Hoffman and his wife Yvette hit multiple times from pew wounds, right? At 3:35 this morning, there is police encountered a suspect outside the home of Melissa Hortman. She's also Democratic representative, Minnesota state legislature. The police and the suspect exchanged pew, right? And the suspect ran back into the house where they believe that the suspect went out the back, and that's how the suspect escaped. The suspect was wearing a fake police uniform, fake badge, all the things. The individual, Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark, are deceased, survived by their 2 children. In the SUV, which was a dark SUV that looked like a police patrol car with blue lights and everything, they discovered a manifesto. That manifesto is said to identify many lawmakers and other officials who were also targeted. Okay. That manifesto, Hap Shep, I don't know what you're talking about. Told me what? This is the same shit I've been saying since I went live. My information has not changed. Literally. My information has not changed. It's the same thing. Jeez, oh Pete. So what we know is that as a result of that manifesto, they sent word out to other people, and security was provided as necessary. Okay. There is a massive manhunt underway for these individuals, or this individual. A few other individuals have been detained, but no one is in custody. And that's where we land on this thing. Okay. That is what we know so far, folks. And that's it. I'm literally refreshing and checking the folks that are, that are reporting on this. And there's nothing else that has been updated that I see. Yeah. Yeah. It's still there. They're still only saying the same things. They're still only saying the same things. I literally just checked all of them for updates. How do I know these things? Because is that a real question? I just don't understand. What do you mean? Right, Carla. I just looked at the question. It just really puzzled me because at first I was going to answer it. Did you see my face? I was just going to answer it at first. And then I was like, well, hell. They are saying what? I know. People have said that in here. Listen, nobody knows anything about why these people were targeted. And let me just say this. Can I tell you how dumb it is? When somebody else says, oh, it's because these 2 voted against whatever bill. Well, what about everybody else on the motherfucking manifesto? What about everybody else in the motherfucking manifesto? I just want to know, did all of them vote that way too? Because you just sound crazy. And G. Johns, we don't know that it was a right-wing whack job. We don't know that. Everyone should just stop speculating, folks. We have to be responsible. Do you all understand? Yeah, she back there just singing away. Y'all, do you understand that we are responsible for how we handle information? And even though you have free speech and you have the ability to say something doesn't mean you should. You know, just because you can say it don't mean you should say it. You ever thought about that? Right? I mean, I really just want y'all to understand, because for me, the first thing that I thought is, oh my gosh, how have we gotten here? And I think we've gotten here in a couple of different ways. You know what I mean? And so let me just say this to you all, okay? You can't just blame Donald Trump for things, because he has a party. There's an entire Congress that could influence how things happen, right? There are people, there are sponsors and or donors, right? You have to think about this, right? It belongs to a lot of different people. And it's not just about this particular event, but where have we gotten that? You know, I don't know how many of you all follow me on Substack, right? But I wrote this morning a Substack that just said, you know, people over property. It works unless they think you're property, right? And I think about the verbiage that we use in politics, and not just Republicans, but also Democrats, in order to, quote unquote, win. You know, I get really mad when I think about Hillary and Bill Clinton talking about super predators just so they could win the election. I get so mad when I think about Bill Clinton and 3 strikes and you're out, because he absolutely crippled the Black American community, right? I think about the language that we see in this country and from our politicians, and how we dehumanize people, right? You know, we've seen it happen with Black Americans, you know, throughout history here, right? We know that you went from being, you know, the N word with the hard R's to the Negroes to you know, whatever, and then becoming, you know, the thugs and the super predators and, you know, and the criminals and the dangerous people that are here to do whatever to your white women, right? We've seen that. We've seen that in this country, where until we got to the place where Black people in this country were less than human beings, right? That is why America was so proficient at chattel slavery, right? Because when you believe that someone is less than human, they are subhuman, then you give yourself permission to do all types of things to them. And if you've noticed, we watched the conversation go from undocumented immigrants, right, to thugs, criminals, the worst of us. They're coming from asylums. They're coming to steal. First, they were lazy. They don't work. They're taking all, you know, the benefits. And the next thing you know, well, they're not lazy anymore. Somehow they're taking all your jobs and at the same time taking all your benefits. I don't know how that works. And then they become the criminals and the rapists and the whatever. And now they're just illegals. So do you all know that when you go to look up the word illegal, right, it is typically used as an adjective to describe a noun, but they are using illegal as a noun. And if you go and look it up, whether it's a Merriam or an Oxford dictionary, you will see that it is defined as a derogatory term. And it is specifically assigned to North America. I think Canada probably feels some type of way about that, right? And it's this verbiage, because now if you can make them just illegals, then you strip away their humanity, and then whatever they do to them becomes justifiable. And I'll tell you what I find those two things to have in common. I find those two things to have in common: the color of people's skin and the need for white people to have cheap or free labor. That's what they have in common. The color of these people's skin and the need for rich white people to have free or cheap labor. This is why I say to people all the time, even though I can't stand Donald Trump as a person, I don't call him Cheeto. I don't call him Orange. I don't even call him 45. I call him Donald Trump, because at the end of the day, he's still a person, right? So if he's a person, I'm not going to call him as something that's not a person, right? Orange is a color, not a person. Cheeto is food, not a person. You follow me? So I might think he's a shitty person, but he's still a person. Right? Right, Tom. Like I said, he could be a shitty person, but he's still a person. Criminals are still people, Sterling. Right? And so when we get to this place where we start to, so for example, when Trump supporters call, and Trump calls Democrats democrats. A demon is not a human being, is it? A demon is not a human being. And when Democrats call MAGAs maggots, maggots are not human beings. Maggots are not human beings. And so what you're doing is, with this language all the time, it becomes very easy to give yourself permission to treat them as less than human beings, because that's the verbiage that's being used. Listen, there's nothing that I like about Donald Trump and the things that he's doing. There's nothing. But I will never be like him, and I will never be like the people of the past that have done such horrible things to other human beings. And that's the choice that every single one of us gets to make every single day. I could be very irresponsible, and I could get up here and I could blame this on Trump and MAGA, and I could say all kinds of shit with absolutely no evidence or facts to back it up, just to stir up my base, just to get people liking, just to get people sharing, just to get people gifting, right? And there will be a lot of creators that do that very thing. There will be a lot of creators who will make videos speculating with all of their no legal expertise, right? And they will be making up stories about what they think happened and have no facts whatsoever. Right. 10 toes down and with their full chest, right? And for me, I believe that to be irresponsible. Right? Matt, if you know something about who did it, I suggest that you pick up the phone and call the FBI. They would love the tip. Now, you know what's going to be really funny is when they finally do release the identity of this person, if it turns out to be an atheist who hates all politicians. Matt said it was a, what did Matt say? Matt said it was MAGA evangelicals. That's what Matt said. Matt said. We don't know who did what. The reports are that it was not a police officer. It was somebody impersonating. No, I don't respect him. I don't respect Donald Trump. No. He's done nothing. His actions, there's nothing about his actions that deserve respect. No, I don't. And it's not about whether he respects anyone else. But here's the thing. I don't have to like you or respect you as a person to respect the fact that you're a human being. Right? And that's the thing this is the thing that's important, people. Right? Oh, thanks, Karen. Listen, liking someone, supporting someone, endorsing someone, those things are not the thing. See you later, Hawaiian gentlemen. I'm taking out the trash. Sorry. Okay. So I'm going to refresh and look for any updates real quick. Raw is gone, honey. Yeah. So for me, I can respect the fact that you are a person. I can respect the fact that you're a human being, but I don't have to respect you as like a person. Because to me, I give respect. He's commented, Karen. He's commented already. He commented very early. Raw is gone, honey. Yeah, Raw is gone. Raw is no longer here. Let me just refresh this real quick, because there are some other things that I want to talk about while we keep looking for updates on this, guys. There were a couple of other things that I did want to talk about today. I thought that Tucker Carlson's newsletter that he put out last night was very interesting. How many of you all are aware of his newsletter that he put out last night? Because he did put one out last night, where he said that Donald Trump was complicit. So I did want to talk about that today as well. Let me refresh real quick. I'm going to keep, if anything changes, you guys, you know that we will get a news alert. Y'all know that just as well as I do, right? Yes. Okay, so let me refresh this real quick. Okay, oh my Lord. Okay, I don't want that. I need. What up, Stacey D, in the place to be? 1 second. Okay, hold on. Okay, so this was updated 1 minute ago. So let me look to see if there's anything else.
While Danny is looking, let's tap the screen, share the live. 596 people in here. We're at 274 likes. Let's get Danny over 300K. And again, we are being overly cautious as moderators in the comments. So I understand how everyone's feeling, but you might be muted and or booted. If it happened by mistake, we're apologizing up front, but we're really trying to keep the energy level where it needs to be. We don't want to speculate too much. We don't want to drive narratives in the lives or misinformation. So just please respect that. If you get caught up in the wash, we apologize up front.
Yep.
But we're trying to keep it where it's supposed to be. So go ahead, sis.
Yeah. Okay. So there's nothing new. They have done just an update, but it was just like a whatever of where we are. So let me get you the whoops. Sorry. Let me get this for you. Okay. So interesting. All right. So this article right here, let me see if it's got the whole thing in it. Because, sometimes they don't put the whole thing in it. Okay. Oh, here we go. Thank you. Appreciate that. Oh, dear God. Okay. Can I see this whole thing out? Okay. So this is from Tucker Carlson, another person that I don't like, but is still a human being. Okay. The name of this newsletter from Tucker Carlson is The Latest. Hey, Mila, did y'all take my charger? No. She said, nope. Hold on one second, guys. Thank you, babe. Appreciate you. All right. I got it, sweets. Thank you very much. I don't want to have my phone not find its life while I'm going through this for you guys. All right. So, all right, here we go. So this newsletter is from Tucker Carlson. So here's what I'm going to do. I think I have this already, but in case I don't, that way I keep everything up to date. So give me 1 second, folks. Yep. Do I need to go over what happened with this, with these two folks again? Or do y'all think everybody that's here currently is all up to speed right now? What do you guys think? Is everybody's good? Okay, here we go. All right, so let's do this. Oh my God, my bag. All right, babes, I'm almost there. Give me 1 sec. All right, folks, I am adding, because we are moving quite along and everything developed really quickly this morning. So I went live before I had absolutely everything together because it shifted very quickly, right? You need a quick review? Okay, I got you. All right. So very quickly while I get this together, I don't mind to do that. So this morning around 2:00 in the morning, Senator John Hoffman from Minnesota, he is a Democratic state senator, was attacked in his home along with his wife, Yvette. They both suffered several pew wounds. They have both undergone surgeries. They are both out of surgery and expected to survive. As a result of what happened with them, police went to check on Melissa Hortman. And when they went to do that, they actually encountered the suspect coming out of the front of her home when the police, the suspect was in like fake police uniform, and there was what appeared to be a police patrol car, because they said out of an abundance of caution, of precaution, because and I don't know, that's all they said, out of an abundance of caution, that's all they said. But when they got to her home, I guess around 3:30 in the morning, then they encountered the suspect who was leaving the front of her home. When police confronted the suspect, he immediately fired upon them, and they exchanged fire. The individual ran back into the home and fled out the back door. Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark, are both deceased. They have 2 surviving children. I do not know the ages. I believe that they are adults, but I don't know that to be fact. And so they, there is a massive manhunt for this individual. A couple of people have been detained that are persons of interest. Thanks, Cam. but there is no one actually in custody. So there are a few people detained, but no one is actually in custody, and there is a manhunt. They have asked for the No Kings protest to be canceled because the suspect had some No Kings flyers in their vehicle. They also had a manifesto, and in that manifesto there was the identity of several other lawmakers and officials who were targeted as well. Okay. So yeah, that's what has happened. I got you, DeBoss. I got you. 1 second. I'm looking really quickly. I'll tell you who I want to look for. What, baby? I know you're playing a game. Thank you. You're being such an amazing. Say what? Okay. Give me 1 second. I want to look at an individual that I know. He hasn't updated anything. I'm just checking a few of the folks that I would think would have the latest. Nope. Nothing here as well. Okay, so I haven't seen the victims are both Democratic lawmakers. Yeah. No, I did not check Aaron Parnas. I didn't. Tony, no, we don't. But I've seen some people say that her children are adults. I don't know the ages of her children. But yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, so that's what they're saying. Indivisible earlier said they weren't canceling their No Kings. That's it, you know. Nicole, please don't say that the flyers were probably planted. Please don't do that, because it's speculation based on absolutely nothing. And it's just not helpful. Like, I don't understand the desire to say things like that when we absolutely have no reason to think so. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why we do things like that. Because and it's not helpful. Okay, so I do want to share this other, yes, Katrina, it was in Brooklyn Park in Champlin. Yes, correct. Folks, for those of you guys that have just come in, I've been on for quite a while already talking about this. I've given all of the facts, and go ahead and get Karen out of here, please. Because we're not saying silence anyone. We're not doing that. That's not a thing. Stace, they're all on lockdown. They're on like a shelter in place. Guys, let me tell you something. I don't do that here. Let me just tell you, with everything in me, I don't do that here. Do not ever come in my live talking about you support the silencing or unaliving of anyone, because you will be booted the fuck out as quick as I can. As quick as I can. You will not be here. Just so you understand that. That's a horrible thing to say about other human beings. I don't care who they are. I don't care who they are. We don't do that here. I don't know what you do, but we don't do that here. So give me 1 second, please. All right. I do want to get to this next part as well. I will keep giving you guys updates as I can. Yep, I do want to talk about Tucker as well. Appreciate you for doing your oh, you work with Miss Hortman? Yeah, we do facts, please. Yeah, I don't like him either. I don't like him either, right? But I do want to share the newsletter that he posted yesterday and his criticism of Trump, where he refers to him as being complicit. I think that that's important, right? I love that, Amy. They did where I'm from too. 2,500 people back home in Kingsport that are at the No Kings protest there. So that's something, right? I told you, I think that more people than they expected are not behind this, right? I'm just telling you. So thanks, Cindy. I'm looking for any other additional updates before I go into this thing on Tucker. Okay, very quickly. Yeah, that's the same update that they had. And yeah, same update. All right, so here we go. The suspect has been identified. They are not releasing the identity of the suspect because there is a massive search on for that individual. Several people are being detained, but no one is in custody. That's where we are. Okay. So here we go. Now I got to find the thing I wanted to show you. Okay. So here we go. So this is what Tucker Carlson had to say in his newsletter. All right. If you guys are talking on Facebook and YouTube, it hasn't shown me a comment in like 30 minutes. So, hey, Cuz, good to see you. Yours is literally the first comment I've seen in 30 minutes, but here we go. All right. So here's what it says. The latest, that's the title of the newsletter. Michael, I haven't seen that yet. I have not seen that yet. Let me see. Yeah, again, like literally, I just looked it up again and there's no name. So, and this was updated 6 minutes ago. The police are not sharing the identity, they said, because the search is still ongoing. So, so this is where I just wish that people, well, let's look. And do you know what's crazy? Oh, thanks, Witch. So when I Google that name, literally nothing comes up. Nothing. Appreciate you, Smile City. Like nothing comes up. Like just go Google that name. No, I spelled it exactly like she typed it. So I spelled it exactly like she typed it and double checked it. Nothing came up. No, I'm telling y'all, when I look it up, I get absolutely nothing. No, it's not suspect at all. The fuck? Luigi's face was everywhere because they didn't know who the fuck he was at first. Do y'all understand the difference? So let me just stop for a second. Y'all ready? Okay, so here we go. When Luigi Mangione was first, when we saw his face everywhere, right? It's because we didn't know that he was Luigi. We didn't know he was Luigi. So they put the face out there to help get him identified. However, they said they know the identity of this individual. Therefore, they don't need to share an image of the individual. That would be the difference. There's nothing suspect about it. It's called how police do their damn job. Okay, people? So just stop. And can I ask you guys a question? Does it matter if you know the name of the person right now or if you know the name of the person an hour from now? Does that change anything about this? Okay, bye. You are now gone because I don't do that shit. Yes, baby, I will. It doesn't change anything, right? Right. So give me a second because Miss Mila used all of her manners just now and asked me for something. She said what she wanted and she said, will you please get it for me? So let me get this for her real quick and then I'm going to run this down for y'all. Okay, you ready? Here we go. Good job, Sissy. That was great asking. You did a fantastic job, my girl. Thank you. You've been working on that, huh? Say what? Okay, here, girl. There you go, sugar boo. There you go, love. Here, babe. What do you say?
Thank you.
You're welcome. We love that. Okay. All right. So, what is under my chair? Maybe nothing, just me. Yeah, she did great, right? Okay, so here we go. Right. Yeah, you guys are welcome. All right, so here we go. So Tucker Carlson sent out a newsletter yesterday, and here's what it says. Israel launched its long-awaited attack on Iran last night, bombarding the Islamic Republic with dozens of missiles and striking its top nuclear facility and at least 5 military bases. The assault reportedly unalived Iranian Revolutionary Guard commander Hossein Salami and other top military leaders, and Israel believes other officials and nuclear scientists also perished. The episode came just days after White House envoy Steve Witkoff warned that Iran could unleash a quote-unquote mass casualty response if the Israelis bombed its new and clear facilities. Earlier this week, unnamed Washington sources expressed concern over Israel's ability to fend off Iran's retaliation, which would inevitably lead to Benjamin Netanyahu ordering the American military to step in and fight on his country's behalf. Tehran launched its first counterstrike last night, firing over 100 rockets at its attacker within hours of the initial assault. On Thursday, Iran's president threatened to, quote unquote, destroy any country that eliminates his government's new and clear facilities. Now the world will learn what that looks like. Okay. And it's got like a little read more thing. And then it says, U.S. says it was, quote unquote, not involved. That's not true. Now, remember, this is Tucker Carlson's newsletter that I'm reading. And it says, quote, Secretary of State Marco Rubio insisted the United States played no role in Israel's attacks on Iran on Thursday, describing the campaign as, quote unquote, unilateral action, saying, quote unquote, we are not involved in strikes against Iran, and adding that, quote, our top priority is protecting American forces in the region, end quote. While the American military may not have physically perpetrated the assault, Years of funding and sending weapons to Israel, which Donald Trump just bragged about on Truth Social, and he links to the Truth Social, undeniably placed the U.S. at the center of last night's events. Washington knew these attacks would happen. They aided Israel. Gosh, that went fast. They aided Israel in carrying them out. Politicians purporting to be America first can't now credibly turn around and say they had nothing to do with it. Our country is in deep. And then the next section of the newsletter says, Trump knew the attack was coming. And then he goes on to say, Donald Trump admitted he had prior knowledge about Israel's attack on Iran on Thursday, telling Brett Baier he knew of the Netanyahu government's plan to conduct the preemptive strikes and that the assault came as no surprise. Despite being complicit in the act of WAR, the president hopes last night's events will help his ongoing nuclear negotiations with Iran. This is all Tucker Carlson, and this is his newsletter. Okay. Let me just show you guys real quick so you can see it. Oof. Sorry. Boom, boom, boom. So this is the newsletter, right? And we're at this last part right here. So despite being complicit in the act of, you see it, the president hopes last night's events will help his ongoing new and clear negotiations with Iran. You should be able to see it, Aylin Jen, because I've got it available. Mom, leave that baby alone. She's okay. Let me share this with you guys over here so you can see it as well. Okay. And then it goes on to say, Steve Witkoff was scheduled to participate in the next round of talks on Sunday, but whether that will happen is still up in the air. Quote, Iran cannot have a new and clear BOMB, and we are hoping to get back to the negotiating table. We will see. There are several people in leadership in Iran that will not be coming back, end quote, said Trump following the strikes. It's worth taking a step back and wondering how any of this helps the United States. We can't think of a single way. Now, when I read this, my immediate first thought was, who's we? My immediate first thought was, who's we? Tucker? Right? Because I want to know, that's literally what my first thought was. Who's we? We can't think of a single way. Who's we? Because I'm just wondering, because you didn't say I can't think of a single way, even though this is your newsletter, right? You said we can't think of a single way. Well, I want to know, who is we, Tucker? Who is we that can't think of a way? Right? And so I think it's really interesting to see, this isn't the first time that we've seen this sort of stuff coming from within the ranks of the Trump folks. We talk about this all the time, right, Lisa? We talk about this all the time, that there are different factions. There are different factions within the Trump supporting system, right? You have the Tucker Carlson folks that are, so here's my thing. I view Tucker like I view, close to how I view Mike Pence. And here's what I mean by that. Okay. My view of Tucker Carlson being like Mike Pence is because they are okay for everything right up. What, babe? You do? Okay, give me one sec. So my thing is this, right? If you all remember, do you all remember the text messages that we saw from Tucker Carlson to Don Jr. and the folks at the White House on January 6th trying to get Donald Trump under control? Do y'all remember those? Because I do, right? And oh yeah, it's coming. You see, I didn't forget about those, Melinda, and it reminds me, right? So they were okay with all that bullshit right up until, oh, you're trying to take over the government. Well, that's just one step too far. Right? And I don't know why that they don't understand by now that they cannot control him. It's not possible to do. And the one person that could control him the best is not in the administration this time. Ivanka said, fuck no, I got out of it the last time without going to jail. I'm not doing a repeat. She said, listen, y'all know when you go out one night and you get way, way, way drunk and you be like, God, if you just get me through this, I'll never drink again. So now they are saying he's a 57-year-old man who is suspected in Minnesota. So give me a second. One moment, because I need to get this man's name. One moment, please. Thank you very much, sis. You can't do that, okay? You can't scream at me, babes. That won't work, my love. So here he is. Let's see if there's a picture. It's BOE, not BUE, and he's 57 years old. So it says two people familiar with the matter identified him as 57-year-old Vance Bolter. The people could not publicly discuss details of the ongoing investigation and spoke to the Associated Press on the condition of anonymity. So let me just tell you, no, he's not been caught yet. So let me tell you what I don't like about this. And then I got to get her some juice. Let me tell you what I don't like about this. The police specifically said they did not, no worries, River Ray said, my bad, I spelled it wrong. No worries. But here's the problem. If the police did not want this information released, why are people leaking it? Because it's not like this isn't a serious matter. It's not like this person hasn't already unalived two people and attempted to unalive two others. Why are we doing that? Right? And I know that the Associated Press is typically like reliable sources, right? Because that's who I'm reading from right now is the Associated Press. But I just wonder, in an attempt for us to know everything as soon as we could possibly know everything and to call the people that we know on the inside to get everything, my question is why? Yep, I believe that, right? Okay, so let me see if there is one other thing. I'm looking for another thing. All right. So let me show you, because y'all know now it's about to really go down. So here's going to come the madness. Everybody is going to be racing to find out everything they can about this, folks. So they are saying that he is the same Vance Bolter who was appointed to the Governor's Workforce Development Board in 2019 by Walz. He was appointed to the Governor's Workforce Development Council in 2016 by the previous governor. I don't know what that means. Like, what does that mean? Right, before Walz did it, it was Dayton. So, but what does that mean exactly? Like, why do we care about that? Like, why do I care about that? Okay, just give me a second, folks. Um, here comes all the framing. Here comes all of the framing. Gosh, I hate this shit. Okay, because what people need to say is that, oh my Lord, I cannot stand this. This is when I just want to throat punch people. Yep, exactly. All people keep saying, all the headlines are a former Waltz appointee, not a former Dayton appointee, but that's the headlines, and it just misses the point. Oh my Lord. Good Lord. Guys, can we stop? Can we stop? I don't care what this man was or wasn't. Thank you for that reminder. My ADHD took me down a rabbit hole. Good Lord. Hold on for a second. Oh, there you are. Wait. Is this real? Wait, so hold on. I got to get her juice, and then I have to look this up because I need to know if this is real or if this is not real. Because this matters. This matters. Here you go, sis.
Don't dim it for me.
Huh?
Hey guys,
Yeah, I got it
the
for you.
juice. We are at 345,000 likes. Let's tap, tap, tap to see if we can get her to 400. And I hope everybody's having a good day. And yeah, we should speculate. We really don't know what's going on. And Danny's going to come back and let us know if this is an Onion article.
Nope, it's not an onion article, but I need to see this. So well, hell. So hold on, y'all. I'm looking because I want to see a couple of other things. So now people are posting what appear to be his Instagram posts. Sorry. I don't know who this person is. Sorry, y'all. So because here's the thing. I don't like to repeat. Matter of fact, hey, Doug, let me stop sharing this shit over here. Hold on. I don't like to repeat it until I know like the source where it's coming from. And just because somebody posts some shit, so I'm confident that that's the person. Well, let me not say that. It appears that is the person, right? But there's conflicting information that I'm seeing about his company, which is Red Lion. Sorry. Yeah. So Red Lion Group is the company that he had. And I wish I could translate this page. Of course, I should be able to do that. Can I not translate this page? I want to translate this page. Yeah. And so here's my thing. On LinkedIn, it says that it's the greater Minneapolis area. And somewhere else, it says that Red Lion Group is out of the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is different, right? So what, baby? Right there on the table. I put it beside my peanut butter. See on the table? So, right. So this is what I'm saying. He is allegedly the CEO of a Red Lion Group, according to his LinkedIn. It also, so another article says that, that he, I know, hold on, y'all. There's so much. But that it is the, yeah. And so it says, yeah, so it says that it is the Democratic Republic of Congo, which that raises like alarm bells in my brain. And it says from 2021 to present, right? It's just weird. But then he was the general manager of all these other things, but he was supposedly appointed. Like, it's just a lot. His volunteer experience is he was the vice chair for employment for people with disabilities on the Governor's Workforce Development Board in Minnesota for 9 years from 2016 forward. So that was his volunteer experience, right? Wow. Okay, so give me a second. I'm gonna refresh. Sorry, folks. We're just kind of all over the place. Love that, Rebecca, little bird. Okay, so it looks very confusing, right? It looks very confusing. When you look at his information, it looks very confusing. So it says Dr. Vance Boltier, ED, which, it was doctorate in education, is the CEO of Red Lion Group based in the Democratic Republic of Congo. He is also the CEO of Praetorian Guard Security Services. Praetorian, I need to look that up. Allegedly, folks. Go ahead, Lisa.
No, it's very bizarre. Everything that's weird, right?
Yes.
And see, this is Danny did not want anybody speculating earlier. With all this new information coming out, for all we know, he was bidding for a contract they didn't give him. Or, I mean, anything's possible, right? So,
yeah.
Like, all that speculating earlier, and it didn't help anything, because now we're like, yeah.
It's very weird.
It's very strange.
Yeah, and so
create the LinkedIn page and put all that weird stuff.
Hey, and Praetorian is supposed to be this cybersecurity company, an offensive cybersecurity company whose mission is to prevent breaches before they occur. Which that just sounds really weird too. Because y'all, his LinkedIn says, it's so fucking weird. His LinkedIn says he was the Del Monte production system manager, general manager for Green Corps in Minneapolis, general manager for 7-Eleven for almost 6 years, and then the CEO of Red Lion Group, right? It's just, yeah, this is the suspect, right? And so like, it's just very weird. But then he was the vice chair of employment for people with disabilities on the governor's workforce development board in Minnesota. So like, there's just a lot of stuff that is very like, well, the AP gave the name, right? AP gave the name. And I'm looking to see. Yeah. All of this is like so weird. It's very weird. Yeah.
Joan, how do you go from being a manager at 7-Eleven to
A
being
general manager. I'll give it that. But
a general still like that, it doesn't make any sense to owning all these businesses and a cybersecurity firm and
then in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Yeah.
I need to know. I just am like, where did the Democratic Republic of Congo come into things? Like,
it really does sound like somebody wrote it who was having a mental breakdown, Danny. Like, I mean,
I don't know.
You know, the information comes from the person who made the LinkedIn page, right? Like, I can go on my LinkedIn page, I can put anything down.
Right.
I can say I was at Yeshiva, and you know.
But there's an article. Holy jeez. Hold on. So it goes on to say that he allegedly majored in international relations for his undergraduate at his undergraduate degree at St. Cloud State University in Minnesota, right? And that is on the LinkedIn, right? And then it goes on to say he holds a Master of Science in Management degree and doctorate in leadership for the advancement of learning and service from Cardinal Stritch University, which is also on there. Nobody is saying he's a CIA operative. Are you crazy? Nobody is saying that. Nobody is saying that at all. What is okay, I want to see this. Is a coalition of statewide organization for all African immigrant communities in Minnesota. Okay, so MN Africans United is the website that had all this information about him. And it is a coalition and statewide organization for all African immigrant communities in Minnesota. It supports Minnesota's African immigrant community with representation from 55 African countries. We act as a connection for the network of African immigrants in Minnesota and for local African immigrant community organizations and small businesses. It's to improve the lives of Africans in the state of Minnesota. Is there anybody else that is going, I can't connect? That's supposedly the company that he's the CEO of, right? I don't see any like real, I don't think that anybody is ever gonna know until they release whatever the manifesto said. Right, correct, Paige, which I said. All I'm saying is this is what his LinkedIn says. This is also what the other organization that he's on says. This is also what this says. So I am not saying to you that any of this is fact, right? Oh, he's white. Yes. Yeah, he's white. Do y'all want me to show you the picture? Is that what I need to do? Let me show y'all the picture. So here, just hold on, because I feel like, so there, that's the picture. So that's the picture. And that's the picture when you go anywhere else. So let me just go back to, that's the LinkedIn, right? I just Googled to see like what else was there under this guard security service that he's supposed to be. Scroll to the bottom of what site? Are you talking about this site? This is the site that I was just telling you about, the Minnesota Africans United site. No, this is not about white South Africans at all, folks. You don't see South Africans mentioned anywhere on here, do you? Right. Yeah, and the copyright gets updated so on and so off. So listen, folks, if you look, it's Red Lion Group, which is supposed to be based in the Democratic Republic of Congo. According to this and according to his LinkedIn, right? So when you look for that particular company, this is what comes up is Red Lion Brokers, which is not the same thing. However, it actually does talk about being in the Democratic Republic. So there's a difference between group and brokers, right? So let's just see if he's on here. It's an insurance brokerage company. See, this says founded in Beirut, Lebanon. Jesus Christ. And then it says, in recent years, we've been through a major strategic expansion that led us into a new phase in 2022 to open new branches in Africa, starting with the Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and the Ivory Coast. So this is a insurance company. Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying he's supposed to be Red Lion Group. But so I guess he's an insurance agent. What kind of insurance?
It sounds like that he is a businessman who owned companies that moved into Africa. So then he joined the board of this United African Immigrant Group and eventually got on the Minnesota board,
Yeah, the government board.
Or whatever. But that's what it sounds like, that he's like, I don't know, got business interests in Africa. So he like aligned himself, with African immigrants in the United States. And
what is the insurance overview?
Very bizarre. Like, it's all very odd.
No, it says he's the CEO. So this is what's really confusing.
Right, the CEO of like, what, 2 different companies, the cybersecurity and then insurance, which doesn't really
I don't know. All right, Rebecca Littlebird. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. So YouTube and Facebook, we're traveling down this rabbit hole and it's not very productive for you. If you want to join me, come over here to TikTok. I will be back later today or tomorrow with more information about the Tucker stuff and other stuff. But we're just kind of